In my experience, there are 6 main frequency areas that you'll want to adjust with an EQ when it comes to mixing vocals, at least if you want to make them sound better. The first is the sub-bass, or the rumble zone as I like to think of it, and this is the extreme low end of a vocal, and it sounds something like this when you solo these frequencies only. Next, we have the low frequencies, which are responsible for the warmth, but can also be responsible for boominess and mud if you're not too careful. These are typically lower and they're around 100 Hz to 300 Hz depending on your vocal, and they sound something like this. Next, we have the boxy range, as some people like to think of it. This is typically from 350 Hz to 600 Hz on a vocal. If you're curious what that sounds like, it sounds like this when soloed. Following this, we really enter the mid-range, especially in the 1000 to 4000 kilohertz range. And this is really where the main part of the vocal lives. This is where the fundamental and most of the intelligibility of a vocal lives. But if you're not careful, it can also have a lot of the nasal, the honk, and some of the other stuff that we don't necessarily want. If you're curious what that frequency band sounds like, it sounds like this. I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. Next, we enter an even more problematic area, and that is the sibilance range. However, it's also responsible for the presence of a vocal track, and that is typically between 5,000 and 8,000 Hz. Here's an example of that band soloed as well. And finally, we get to the air band. This is the very top end of a vocal frequency. We're talking from 10,000 Hz and above. And this is really responsible for just adding some more shine or brightness to an overall sound. If you're curious what that sounds like, it sounds like this. Ultimately, we want to use an EQ to correct imbalances, frequency imbalances, and volume imbalances within your track. You might have some problems over others. You might have a vocal that's muddy or boomy, or dark, or harsh, or sibilant, or something else, but it might be some of these problems and not all of them. At the end of the day, we can look to an EQ to use to fix these issues. I want to show you how I approach doing this step by step, and I'm going to be using my friend Everything Ocean song, Rent Free. Now, the first thing that I like to do when it comes to EQing vocals is I like to create a low-cut filter to ultimately reduce the low end of the vocal, and this is actually going to do a number of things. First of all, it's going to help clean up muddiness. Low end is usually responsible for a muddy sound, and by getting rid of some low end, it should help clean it up and make it sound brighter. At the same time, by getting rid of the low end, it's going to help reduce proximity effect. This is usually a buildup of low frequency energy because of the artist's position on a mic when recording. At the same time, the low end is responsible for rumble. A lot of times this is unintelligible and non-important frequency information, so we can ultimately get rid of it, and that'll help clean up that muddiness once again. By doing this, we're going to be able to create some more headroom overall because low frequency content generally eats up the most amount of headroom. So by getting rid of it, we're not only cleaning up the vocal, but at the same time creating a little bit more room for us to increase the volume of it later if we see fit. Now, when it comes to setting this filter, the way I like to do it is I like to solo the vocal and play the track. And as I play it and listen, I'm going to sweep the filter across to the right, so I'm removing low end. And I'm going to listen for the point at which the vocal sounds drastically different. Usually when it starts sounding thinner, I know that I've gone just too far and I want to now pull it back and compensate. So I'm going to pull it back to the left and not remove as much and try to find that sweet spot where I'm just losing enough low end to the point where it's cleaning it up, but not too much where the vocal starts sounding thin. Of course, this is going to be situational based on your vocal, but I find anywhere from 30 to 100 Hertz, typically you want to set your filter there. I've been going as high as 90 to 100 most times, but sometimes it's a little bit lower, once again, depending on the track. So let's do this real quick. I'll play this and sweep across and try to find that sweet spot, and then we'll make some more decisions from there.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
So that seems to be pretty good, right? We're cleaning this up. You definitely heard when I was pushing it a little bit more to the right, we're losing a little bit too much information. The vocal was starting to sound thin and less present, and it may not be a big deal when it's soloed, but when it's in context with everything, I know that's going to be a problem. And in fact, let's actually hear the frequency that I'm ultimately reducing or removing here now that I've set this up.
I don't want to take my soul. I dey want take my clothes.
So when I solo it, it kind of seems important, right? But at the end of the day, this difference is not going to be that big of a difference because I'm really just getting rid of this low end stuff. And this low end stuff is really going to be dominated by the instrumental, by the kicks, the basses, and other frequencies there. And we're not really going to notice this missing by doing this, especially when it's in context with everything else. So now that we got the low cut filter set in place, the next thing we want to do is create a high cut filter. So we're going to use the same type of logic here, except now we're rolling off the excessive high end. And there's a few reasons why we want to do this. The main one is that we want to keep the frequency range really focused in the mids and mid highs because that's really where the vocal lives. And at the same time, by doing this, we're going to be able to shave off any excessive high end stuff. So maybe it's a little bit too much air or stuff in the room. Maybe it's some mouth clicks and unintelligible information that's really beyond human hearing because human hearing ends up rounding off around 20K. But that being said, I'm going to solo this vocal once again. I'm going to sweep across and I'm going to try to find that sweet spot. And what's going to happen is when I go too far, you're going to notice that vocal sounding darker, less upfront, less clear. This is not what we want. That's obviously going to be too harsh of a move. Instead, we're going to want to find that and then back off and give it some slack to ultimately end up outside of that boundary. So we're just cutting off that extreme high end that we're not really going to hear or perceive. And again, keep this vocal focused on the mid range. Let's do that.
Yeah, I dey want take control. I dey want take my soul. I dey want take my clothes. I dey want take my door. I dey want leave me alone, leave me oh. I dey want take my joy. I dey want take my toy. I dey want take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I dey want take control. I dey want take my soul. I dey want take my clothes. I dey want take my door. I dey want leave me alone, leave me oh. I dey want take my joy. I dey want take my toy. I dey want take my voice.
So right now we have this sitting roughly where I want. You definitely heard me push it too far and it made the vocal sound darker, but then I ended up compensating and cutting it some slack and letting more of those high frequencies through. I also made some adjustments, particularly increasing the decibel per octave slope. So that way this is a little bit sharper and I find that usually sounds better when dealing with high frequencies. But on the low side, I usually like to have a more sloped appearance. I find that usually sounds a little bit more musical. It can still let through some of those low frequencies that keep the vocal sounding warm. That being said, let's quickly A/B with or without these filters in the context of the track.
Yeah, I dey want take control. I dey want take my soul. I dey want take my clothes. I dey want take my door. I dey want leave me alone, leave me oh. I dey want take my joy. I dey want take my toy. I dey want take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
So with filters out of the way, the next thing we want to do is we want to do some strategic cuts. We want to cut certain frequencies that are a part of this vocal that are just not as important or that are causing some problems. Maybe it's boominess or muddiness or sibilance or harshness. These are all different factors that I obviously talked about at the beginning of this video, and these are all things that I'm going to be focusing on in this section. However, some of them may be more prevalent than others, and some of them may not even come up here in this mix. That being said, while I am about to focus on cuts, I highly recommend you check out my video, 3 Ways to EQ Vocals, because that video will break down a really great way and strategy to approach removing frequencies and getting them to sit well, because a lot of you guys have been asking me about that, and that's a great video that'll definitely support this one here. That being said, the first thing we want to do is we want to play this, and usually we want to do this in context, but if you need to solo your vocal, absolutely feel free to do that to really confirm what you're hearing. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to solo it. I'm going to play around. I'm going to try to find a frequency band that I find to be too overwhelming, and then I'm going to show you how I approach removing it. Let's first focus on these lower frequencies, specifically in that muddy range, because there's usually a buildup of energy there, especially in that 100 to 300 area.
Yeah, I dey want take control. I dey want take my soul. I dey want take my clothes. I dey want take my door. I dey want leave me alone, leave me oh. I dey want take my joy. I dey want take my toy.
So I've identified two frequencies here, around 157 and around 325. But with these two identified, I haven't done anything. I'm not trying to actually remove or add anything just yet. But what I just want to do is just figure out where is there an overwhelming presence of these frequencies. And I did that by soloing the frequency itself using this Pro Q3. If you don't have access to a Pro Q or an EQ that will allow you to solo a frequency, you can of course just boost or pull. And I definitely talk about that in my 3 Ways to EQ Vocals video. That being said, now that we have these identified, what I want to do is I want to actually actually pull the band out and maybe narrow it a bit so it's really focused. And I'm actually going to maybe pull out too much. And then I'm going to play this and I'm going to reintroduce that frequency and just try to find the spot where I'm able to just hear it and get a nice balance that I like, but at the same time reducing it so that it's not too overwhelming in the mix. Let's do that.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
So that seems to be pretty good. I'm obviously reducing this problematic frequency. And the thing is, though, I don't want to remove too much because, again, even though this might be responsible for mud, it's also responsible for warmth. So if I get rid of too much, the vocal starts sounding thin, especially in the context of the track. While I am in solo, I am going to compare that in a moment. Let's quickly deal with this other band. So 325, this is roughly where that boxy range is starting. And there might be a few more areas you want to identify, but let's just start addressing this.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
So this is great. We're actually able to get rid of a lot of that boxy type of sound that Oshan has in the room because he is recording in a smaller environment. So sometimes you're able to hear that a little bit more. So this is definitely treating it and taming that a little bit. Next, let's take a look at the mid-range and see if we can identify other problematic frequencies there.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise.
So that seems to be good. I got 3 additional bands highlighted. We may find some more. First, we have a continuation of that boxy range. Let me just narrow the cue and play that. I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to notch it out and then reintroduce.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy.
So that's pretty good. Let's look at this next band. This one may be something we don't want to address because it is really right in that pocket where the vocal fundamental lives. However, this is also where you get a lot of that nasal, that honk, and that excessive presence, that harshness potentially. And that's why I'm considering reducing this. So let's actually narrow the cue on this, play it. I'm going to get rid of it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
So that sounds pretty good. And by the way, you might be wondering, hey, like, what's up with these numbers? 3, 3, like, shouldn't you only be doing slight moves or whatever? The number of the actual reduction does not matter. What matters is how does it sound, right? We want to be thinking about it like that. That's why I'm obviously pushing it extremely far at the beginning, overdoing it, of course. And then I'm going to reduce that and find that sweet spot where I'm able to just lose enough where I don't fully notice it, but that it cleans the sound up. And whether it's -3, -10, that number is irrelevant. It's about how it sounds, because at the end of the day, your listener is not listening listening to it and going, oh my God, he took out 5K by 6 dB. They don't care. They just want to know if it sounds good and if they like it. And that's obviously what we're trying to arrive at here. That being said, let's look at this top band. This is in the sibilant kind of area, the 7,000-ish range, the T's, the S's, the CH's, things of that nature.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice.
That seems to be pretty cool. I played with a few different values there, and the reason why I'm very delicate here is because this is really where the vocal really lives. It's where you're really able to hear it, the intelligibility, the clarity, all that stuff. So if I overdo it, it's actually going to make the vocal sound worse. There's such a thing as overprocessing, especially with EQ, and I'm trying to avoid that. Let's see if we can find anything else. So right here is definitely some more harshness as well. I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to make a very narrow band. I'm actually going to switch it over to a bell because this was a high shelf. And I'm going to just notch it out and then reintroduce it. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh.
Really quick, let's put it in context and just do a quick A-B. I'll take it out and put it in.
Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, of course, it is losing a little bit of presence because we've been really focused on just reducing things. So now the next step that we're going to want to take is to actually add. We want to add some frequency content to color the sound and just make sure that it's dominant in certain pockets. So I'm going to do that right here. The first area that I like to add to is in the lower end. Keep in mind that we are reducing around 159, but I do feel like there's probably a fundamental here in that low 100 that we can emphasize a little bit to once again just warm it up and add a little bit more body or weight to the vocal. So let's do that.
Take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want to leave me alone, leave me, oh.
So that's pretty cool. We're adding just a little bit here, 2 dB at about 111 hertz. And that's obviously contrasting the cut that follows it, but it's just concentrating the low end energy and just warming up and adding that body to the vocal once again. Now, I do prefer to add it a bit lower rather than higher. So, for example, I'm focusing closer to that 100 range rather than that 300 range because 300 is once again responsible for that mud. So by boosting in that area, I'm probably going to just clog up and muddy the mix. So I'm really against doing that. But I'm not against doing it on the lower end of things as long as it doesn't clash with other elements such as the kick and bass. Next, we may want to consider doing a little bit of a boost in the mid-range, specifically closer to that 3000. You see I'm cutting here around 2500. Let's actually see if I go closer to this 3000 range, if I can find a nice fundamental to just emphasize. And what that should hopefully do is increase the intelligibility and the presence of the vocal overall.
Leave me, oh. I don't want to take my joy. I don't want to take my toy. I don't want to take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I don't want to take control. I don't want to take my soul. I don't want to take my clothes. I don't want to take my door. I don't want leave me alone, leave me, oh.
Now, the other area that I think would be cool to boost is maybe add a little bit of a top end boost to add some more air and presence. I'm going to actually do a high shelf so that way everything above a certain point is affected. And let's see if I could just sweeten this a little bit and give it a little bit more presence in the high end.
Yeah, I don't want take control. I don't want take my soul. I don't want take my clothes. I don't want take my door. I don't want leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want take my joy. I don't want take my toy. I don't want take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise. Yeah, I don't want take control. I don't want take my soul. I don't want take my clothes. I don't want take my door. I don't want leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want take my joy. I don't want take my toy.
So that seems to be helping. We're getting a little bit more presence in the top end, and it's still able to preserve that cut that we have. You can see that that's still notching things out, but then everything here is being boosted, and I like how that's sounding so far. Now, there are some areas that I haven't talked about for the adding. You could definitely add to the sibilance area, but I'm very careful when doing that because, once again, as much as it might add presence to a vocal, it might also, of course, increase that sibilance and that harshness, which is not a good thing, so I'm very careful when I'm trying to do that. I didn't feel like I needed to do that here because Oshawn has quite a high-end vocal here. He's got a high-end vocal chain as well, so it just doesn't feel necessary, but everything else did. All right, so let's bypass it and play it with or without the EQ and see the difference before I put it back into context.
Yeah, I don't want take control. I don't want take my soul. I don't want take my clothes. I don't want take my door. I don't want leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want take my joy. I don't want take my toy. I don't want take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
Let's actually play this now in context and take a listen to how it sounds with and without the EQ.
Yeah, I don't want take control. I don't want take my soul. I don't want take my clothes. I don't want take my door. I don't want leave me alone, leave me, oh. I don't want take my joy. I don't want take my toy. I don't want take my voice. I'ma keep making noise. I'ma keep making noise.
So this EQ is definitely making the vocals sound more pristine, more clear, more clean, more upfront, so to speak, and less muddy, less bloated, less of the things that I didn't want, more of the things that I did want. And a really important thing to do here is once you've done this, as you listen in context especially, consider reevaluating your moves. Maybe certain frequencies that you've taken away or added need to actually be readjusted. Maybe you don't need to take away as much or don't need to add as much. I'm definitely hearing that myself right now. I'm considering maybe not taking away as much in the low frequencies because I think maybe I've overdone it a little bit. But that's okay. It's okay to overdo it at first and then find the right balance afterwards. But of course, always listen in the context of your track because that is how your end listener is going to consume the music, and you're ultimately trying to make sure that your final product sounds the best for that final format. Now, that being said, if you haven't tapped that thumbs up button, please do that right now. It would really mean a lot. It would help this video do better in the long run, and it'll help the YouTube algorithm, though, to show you some more of my helpful content. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Tap that subscribe button and hit that bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video, and I'll see y'all on the next one. All right? Peace.
5,